Smale Riverfront Park is called the front porch of Cincinnati, but the mayor and at least one other top city leader tell the 9 on Your Side I-Team it is also a prime example of bad policy.
The park was built using long-standing agreements. Evan Millward dug into those agreements and found they can play favorites.
When you look at the numbers, women and minority-owned businesses were almost entirely skipped over when it came to building the latest phase of this $120 million project.
I think if you look at the history of this country, if you look at the history of this city, we have to be aware of our own biases.
For years, the city of Cincinnati didn't track how many contracts it awarded to women and minority-owned businesses. The city's goal was to award 30% of construction contracts to small businesses, regardless of the race or gender of the owner. But there was no standard for minority or women-owned business contracts. The park's board never had a problem meeting that small business standard.
So they were very good at what the official program was, and I suspect and believe that they'll be the best at the new effort.
Since there was no standard, the city didn't keep track of how many minority and women-owned businesses were hired for city projects.
Throw my vest on and we're going to walk down here to the banks real quick. We've done quite a bit of work for the city.
Businesses like Monroe Barnes.
All of us should have been notified and had an opportunity to work on the project.
The I-Team spent days double-checking hundreds of park board invoices following your money. Of the almost $16 million public dollars awarded to contractors for the most recent phase of Smale Park, we found about $44,000 went to 3 women-owned subcontractors and nearly $168,000 to minority-owned Rod Techs Incorporated. 65% of the city contracts for Smale Park went to small businesses. We found less than 2% went to female or minority owners.
It bothers me that it's a big downtown project, and you look at these projects and you don't see anybody that looks like me. That kind of bothers me when the city is, 40% African American.
We took those concerns straight to Thomas Corey, who runs the city's new Economic Inclusion Department.
Those same folks are also taxpayers. So it's just crucially important that we have a program like this so everybody can be involved.
That department is tasked with making sure everyone gets a fair chance at city contracts.
That's the only way we're going to really grow the economy.
Rod Tech's president tells us his company probably made more money than city records show because the size of this project kept changing. Even still, it wouldn't make much difference on the tiny percentage of women and minority-owned contracts. The 9 on Your Side I-Team is committed to tracking how many contracts are going to women and minority-owned businesses. Already, Mayor Cranley tells us he expects to more than double that percentage this year. At Smale Riverfront Park, I'm Evan Millward, 9 on Your Side.
Evan, thank you. Earlier this year, the city manager looked into how the Parks Board bid out those Smale Park contracts. It used existing master service agreements. You could think of those like keeping companies on retainer. Critics have said it automatically excluded many minority companies. Our investigation continues now on WCPO.com, where you can read about the city's new requirements and the push to get rid of those MSAs.